Hi everyone, welcome back to one of my Flosstube videos. I am Whitney if you don't know me already, and I have a ton of cross-stitch content to share today. It has been about 2 months or a little longer since my last Flosstube video. I did share one a couple weeks ago, but that was all about my mom's stitching, and so today we're back to talking about my stitching and what I've been doing, and there is a ton to cover since it's been such a while, and so let's get right into it. So in my last Flosstube video, I had showed a fabric that I had Kool-Aid dyed, but I couldn't show what I was stitching on it at the time because it was kind of a secret project, but today I get to share it and I am super excited. So here is how that project turned out. This is the fabric that I Kool-Aid dyed so that it would look like it had little blue waves on it. And I think it turned out super cute. This is an original design that I created. It says, "You're perfect," and it is a cat mermaid, or a cat mermaid, whatever you want to call it. And I just think it is so cute. It is based on a book that I was reading to my kids, and it just inspired me to try to create a cutesy little animal mermaid design. And my kids absolutely love how it turned out. I think it's super cute. I also wanted to try out some different colors. So my kids and I are very much into color order, so things being like in rainbow order. So this is kind of a primary color rainbow tail. Oh, and if you didn't notice, the U on perfect is a cat face. Anyway, so I wanted to try it again in a more pastel color palette because I know not everyone is into like the super bright rainbow colors. So I made this version in pastel colors, and I also changed the lettering, so instead of being above and below the mermaid, the letters are all together, so it can be done as a separate piece like this. And I just think it turned out so cute. I finished this on Dollar Tree products, so this is just from the Dollar Tree summer line. It was just a natural wood color anchor, and then I added the twine up here, and I actually painted it white. So here's the back. You can see it's a little bit more of like wood color, and the front is more white. And the other piece as well is on a Dollar Tree little house. It said something like "on beach time" or something like that on it, and I just traced it and measured in about 1/4 inch, and that's what I cut my foam core to because that is all I had to use, and then just wrapped my stitching around it and glued it into place. And I know some people are not into using like hot glue, not into using foam core, that kind of thing. Totally fine if that is not what you're into. I don't figure this is going to be a masterpiece that's going to be around for 100 years, so it's totally fine for me. But anyway, the really exciting part is that this is now available as a PDF in my Etsy store. So I renamed my store and everything, and it is now for selling cross-stitch PDFs. So it is now called Stitched with Whitney, and this is a PDF. It is my very first one that I made available last week. And I announced it on Instagram and Facebook and all those places. So if you are interested in stitching up this project in either colorway, I have both colorways on the PDF as well as the different text variations. And yeah, so it is available in my Etsy store. I'd be super excited if you headed over there and took a look at it, and yeah, I'm very excited. I have lots of other designs that I'm working on as well, and they will be added to my Etsy store in the future. And if you do stitch up something that I designed, I would love if you would use some hashtags such as Stitched with Whitney, and then each different PDF will also have a custom hashtag so that I can see what you're creating and other people can see it as well. And this fabric is actually one that I hand dyed as well. This was done with aquamarine Rit dye because right after my last Flosstube video, my mom came to visit and we went thrifting, and we found some cross-stitch supplies while we were thrifting, and we also did a lot of fabric dyeing. I actually dyed a lot of fabric that I found while I was thrifting, and we had a ton of fun with it. We did a lot of color experimenting and stuff. So that one was aquamarine, and let me grab some of the other fabrics that we dyed while my mom was here. So I have to be careful because I do have other projects on some of these that I cannot share yet, but I will do my best to show you what I can. So this is one of them that we dyed. I believe it was like denim blue or something like that. It's really, really pretty. A nice, just basic blue color. And then here is the same one that I dyed with the same color, and then I dipped it in a quick tea dye for just a second. And then I went ahead and stitched this Farm Fresh freebie on it that is from Hands on Design or something like that. I will try to link it down below because I cannot remember who I got this from now, but it is really cute. It was a super simple stitch that only took me, I think, like one evening to do. Okay, we also dyed a purple fabric, and this was done with, I believe it was 2 different colors of blue, and somehow it turned purple. So we're not exactly sure how that happened, but it is definitely a beautiful color, and I have 2 projects that I'm stitching on it right now. I'll show you one of them in just a little bit. But it is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm glad we had the like happy little accident of mixing colors on that one. And then I think I have 2 or 3 more. Okay, here is the same aquamarine that I stitched the Mermaid on. And then after my mom left, I dyed 2 more fabrics. I did a pearl gray, and I left this in the dye quite a long time. I just wanted to see how dark I could get the pearl gray to dye the fabric, and this was as dark as I could get it. And then I also did a wine color dye. This is actually a RIT dye that is left from the very first thing I ever dyed, which was 15 years ago. I dyed a white skirt that I had gotten at the thrift store, or sorry, at a garage sale, and I had done it in this color, and it's absolutely beautiful. And my mom had happened to save what was left of that dye all these years, and so now I got to dye some cross stitch fabric with it. I haven't decided what to stitch on it yet, but I do definitely love the color. I wanted to quickly show another design that I stitched that was a freebie, and I did it on the pearl gray fabric, and this is the Chicken Joy pattern from Priscilla and Chelsea over at Stitching with the Housewives. It's actually supposed to be about twice this size. There's supposed to be the tree, and then there's a chicken that is holding onto the end of the string of lights and the word joy up at the top. But I was trying to see if this would make a good like Christmas ornament, so I scaled it down, just did a portion of the pattern, and I made a few changes to it. But yeah, I think it turned out cute. This is actually the 3rd attempt at finishing it. I tried a few other stitched finishes on it and just didn't like them, and I finally settled on this one, and I do quite like it. Whoop. It is the same on the front and back, and I just closed up somewhere there. I just closed up the side with a basic ladder stitch. I have a video showing how to do a ladder stitch. It's what I would use to close up all the memory bears that I would make, but it also is perfect for little cross stitch pillows like this, so I will link to that video down below. Before I show more of what I've been working on, I did want to quickly share a random act of kindness that someone sent to me. It was by Doreen, and she reached out to me and said that she had some old cross stitch stuff that she wasn't using, and she wanted to pass it along to someone who could use it, and I am super appreciative. It was so kind of her. So I wanted to show what she sent to me. So first up is this country cotton Ada in this really nice red color. She also sent one that's in kind of a salmon color, but I don't have it to show right now because I actually over dyed it with a coffee dye this morning to make it a really beautiful kind of tannish color, and it's still drying in the kitchen, so I can't show that right now. And then there was some just white Ada fabric, and she also sent me several charts, and I am in love with them. So there's these Little House Needleworks ABC samplers, and they're all little houses, and each one has a different style of house and a couple of letters. So you can stitch them all together in a like big square to make one piece that would have the entire alphabet on it, or you can finish it in little pillows like they show here. And they are just absolutely adorable. I love cross stitches with little houses, and so I'm definitely going to stitch up some of these in the future. I don't know if I'm going to include the alphabet part or if I'm just going to do the houses. I haven't decided yet, but I just love these. And she also sent over some Nikki's creations. This is Halloween Girl, Easter Girl, Liberty Girl, and Summer Scissors Sampler, which I think is really cute. And then there is Apple Pie Sampler that I think is adorable. And this would actually be good for doing in smaller portions as well if someone wanted to. You could do like the apple pie making supplies or the pie itself, or you could do the whole piece. It doesn't matter. And then she sent along a kit for Witch Cutie, and it's just a cute little Halloween themed kit with all the supplies inside. So thank you again, Doreen. That was so sweet of you. And I cannot wait to stitch up some of these charts and use the fabric. As I said, I'm over dyeing one of them right now, and so I will be using it very soon. Okay, so back to what I have been stitching on. I wanted to update you on some of my whips. So the one I shared previously is the Victorian mice that I'm working on out of a 1993 cross stitch magazine. And here is how they are going. I have the dad completely stitched. He just needs a lot of back stitching. And then I have the little boy mouse basically stitched to the waist. I just have a few more stitches to put up here in his hat. And then I'll have his legs and the big chunk of cheese that he's standing on. It's going pretty well. I don't work on them that often just because I have a lot of other things that I'm working on as well, but I do get a few stitches in it here and there. The other whip that I have that I'm working on is Bunny Bakery from Stitching with the Housewives, and this is my working copy of the chart, so ignore how it looks. Here's what it looks like. And then here is how far I am on it. So my mom is the one who actually started this. She got a few rows in and decided that this fabric is too hard to stitch on. And it actually is really hard to stitch on. Not just because it's black, but because the holes are incredibly hard to see because it has like an uneven weave to it. So I said, well, I'll give it a try. You know, she started over on a different fabric that was easier to work on, and I said, well, I'll give it a try. I'll see if I can stitch on it and, you know, finish this project. And it's actually going really well. She did the first 3 rows, and I've done all of the rest of it so far. So yeah, I work on it while I'm sitting outside while the kids are playing outside. That way I have lots of lovely natural sunlight helping me to see where the holes are. And even then sometimes it's still pretty hard. But it should be getting easier because I now have a stitching light. I'm super excited. My mom actually got this for me. She gave it to me just a couple days ago. So I can now stitch inside, even if it's, you know, evening and whatnot, and see what I'm working on really, really well. So thank you so much, Mom. I absolutely love using this lamp, and it has helped me a lot. And speaking of my mom, when I went to her house a couple weeks ago, is when we filmed her Flosstube video, and we mentioned at the end of it that the next day we were going to go to a local needlework shop, and it was my very first time going to one, and turns out it was way bigger than I expected. It was so large, and we spent 2 hours, I believe it was, just roaming around and looking at all the stuff, looking at the samples, looking at what they had for sale. And we could have spent so much more time there, but it was after lunch time, like we'd missed lunchtime by that point and we were starving, and so it was like, okay, we have to figure out what we're buying and leave and go get some food. So the thing that I picked out at the Silver Needle, which is what the store was called, it's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was this Hands-On Designs, a year of celebrations, and it is little designs that you can stitch up for each month of the year. And then that way each month you just swap out which stitching you have on display, and I felt like it was a nice way to do several pieces but it not take up a lot of space in my house. So I really like it. I think it's cute, and I have gotten started on it. And here is what I've gotten done so far. I decided to start with January. No real reason why I started with January other than it was the large design on the front, and I felt like it's one of the cuter designs. I just love the little snowman and stuff, and I really wanted to try out this purple fabric, and I thought the white snowman would look beautiful on it, which it does. The white looks so nice on this fabric, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, that is another one that I have been working on, and I'm getting, well, I feel like I'm pretty close to finishing it, but I'm about 2/3 of the way through. And on all of these, I am not using called for colors. I just grab my box of floss and just start laying out colors together to see what looks good on the fabric, what looks good together from what I have. I don't want to run out to the store and buy a whole bunch of flosses. I'm just picking from what I have, and I do stick to, like, if it's supposed to be green, I use green. If it's blue, I use a blue, that kind of thing most of the time. But I don't pay attention to exactly what shade that it calls for. I just make sure they all look good together and they all look good on the fabric that I'm wanting to use, and that's what I go with. So one thing I did want to do is kind of give a little sneak peek on what you can expect coming up in my Etsy store soon. I am working on a series of patterns that all have some similar themes, and so I thought it'd be fun to kind of share a little bit about it. So I think I'm going to name the series Crop of Characters, so that'll kind of give you a little hint as to what it's about. So Crop of Characters, and I will show you the finishing piece that I'm using. So this is a little sheet metal decor piece that I got at Dollar Tree, and it had two little screws here and it had a little something on the front. I don't even remember. I think one of them had a little house on the front and one of them had, I think, a star. So this is from Dollar Tree, and I have a piece of metal glued on the back. I know that seems silly because this whole thing is metal, but because of the corrugation on it, it made the magnets on the project hard to stick on unless I put something flat first. So this is the back of my first finish of the series, and here is the decoration, also on a magnet. So it's like this, and I can swap it out for each one to fit whatever theme cross stitch I'm putting right here. So that's just to give you a little hint about the series. So Crop of Characters, and yeah, they're all going to be interchangeable, so I can finish them all on the same piece again, so I can just swap out this right here for another one. And I am very excited about it. It was originally going to be just a 4-part series, one for each season of the year, but I am having so many ideas right now that there may be a lot more parts than that. So I cannot wait to show you more than that, but I hope what I was able to show does help you get some excitement about it, and I hope that you're looking forward to the series. And some of the PDFs will start coming soon to my Etsy store. Yeah. Oh, I do also have a new Facebook group, Stitched with Whitney, if you want to join there and see little sneak peeks and different things for my Etsy store. It is all about the PDFs and designs that I'm creating, and I'll be sharing little peeks and tips and things so that you can know what to expect in my Etsy store, or you can share your finishings there. Yeah, so that will be linked down below as well. All the links I mentioned are down below for my Etsy shop, the Facebook page, the tutorial for closing up the pillow, all that stuff linked down below. And yeah, until next time, happy stitching!